There is a specific type of silence between two people that feels louder than screaming. If you have ever felt like the air gets physically heavier when a specific person walks into the room, but neither of you breathes a word about it, you are not imagining it. In fact, evolutionary biology has a name for this. It's called limbic resonance. It's when your nervous system detects a match so intense that your brain actually struggles to process it logically. Most people ignore this tension because they're terrified it's all in their head. They think they're being delusional. But the truth is, if you're picking up on these subtle frequencies, it usually means you possess a high level of sensory acuity, a sign of high emotional intelligence. You are seeing what 99% of people miss. And if you notice these 4 specific psychological signs, it means they are terrified to say it, but they are screaming it with their behavior. The first sign is something that often gets mistaken for simple friendliness, but it is actually a subconscious safety mechanism.
Their conversations with you go deeper than the relationship title allows. When we are indifferent to someone, we stay on the surface. We talk about the weather, work, or the news. But when someone is harboring hidden feelings, they have a craving for intimacy that they cannot express physically, so they force it verbally in the safest way possible. They ask you questions that other people don't bother to ask. They remember the name of your childhood dog or that specific fear you mentioned 3 months ago. Your brain is like a supercomputer that deletes irrelevant data to save energy. If they are retaining tiny, seemingly useless details about your life, it is because their reticular activating system, the filter in their brain, has marked you as high priority. They're building an emotional bridge to you because they're too scared to build a romantic one. Now, having deep conversations is a strong indicator of mental connection, but that doesn't explain the physical glitch that happens when you're in the same room. That comes down to this next biological trait, which is often the most confusing one to witness. Sign number 2 is that they become emotionally glitchy specifically around you. See, a person who sees you as just a friend remains consistent. They are calm, cool, and collected. But when someone has feelings they are suppressing, their body is in a constant state of conflict between the hormone dopamine, which pulls them toward you, and cortisol, the stress hormone, which tells them to run away to protect their hearts. This manifests as behavior that feels inconsistent. One minute they are warm and glowing in your direction, and the next they seem cold, distant, or guarded. You might think they are being rude, but psychologically, they are regulating their nervous system. They are trying to put themselves back together because your presence dismantles their composure. If you see them fixing their hair, adjusting their clothes, or looking at you and then immediately looking away when you catch them, that is not rejection. That is a system overload.
But while a system overload explains why they act weird in person, it doesn't explain why they keep popping up on your phone when there is nothing to say. That leads us to the third sign, which is the most common way people beg for attention without asking for it. Sign number 3 is the empty reach. Psychologists call this a bid for connection. You will notice they create flimsy excuses to initiate contact. They send you a meme that isn't that funny. They ask a question they could have easily Googled. They tell you a mundane story about their day that didn't really need to be shared. On the surface, this looks casual, but underneath, it is intentional. They are knocking on your door just to see if you will open it. They are trying to maintain the connection loop because the thought of the bond fading is more painful than the fear of looking silly. They want to see if you will respond with the same softness they feel. They are looking for proof that they aren't alone in this.
Now, digital communication is easy because it's low risk. But this final sign is the one that happens in real time, the one that truly reveals that the magnetic pull is mutual. And it is the one you have likely felt in your gut but were too afraid to trust. Sign number 4 is the gravitational orbit. Even in a crowded room, you will find that the two of you somehow always end up next to each other. It's rarely planned. It's an unconscious use of what we call proxemics, the study of human use of space. When two people have unspoken feelings, they unconsciously orient their bodies toward each other.
You will notice the goodbye takes way longer than it needs to. You linger, they linger, you stand by the door talking about nothing for 20 minutes because neither of you wants to sever the connection. It is the tension of something unstarted. It feels like you are both waiting for the other person to break the seal, but the stakes feel too high.
And this is where you need to reframe how you see this situation. You might feel like you are overanalyzing or that you are stuck in limbo. But the ability to feel this unspoken weight isn't a weakness. It's a superpower. It means your intuition is functioning perfectly. You aren't broken and you aren't imagining things. You are just tuned into a frequency that most people are too numb to feel. If you are feeling this electricity, drop a lightning bolt emoji in the comments so we can see how many of us are dealing with this unspoken tension. And if you want to know exactly how to break that silence without risking rejection, you need to understand how to signal safety to them. I break down exactly how to do that in this video right here. Click here to watch that next.